Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's severe weather update. So yet another day of dangerous severe weather lies ahead today, as the Storm Prediction Center has issued a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather across the northern Texas Panhandle, much of central northwestern Oklahoma, and south central Kansas in the orange shade area for today. We have a slight risk of severe weather across northwest Texas through central Oklahoma, south central Kansas, and far eastern New Mexico in the yellow today. And then we have a marginal risk of severe weather from west Texas through northeast New Mexico, southeast Colorado, much of Kansas, southeast Nebraska, far southwestern Missouri, and far northwestern Arkansas in the dark green today. We also have a slight risk of severe weather across areas of the Carolinas in the yellow with a marginal risk in the dark green surrounding that. And then we also have another slight risk of severe weather across central Florida in the yellow with a marginal risk to the north and the south in the dark green surrounding that. And taking a look at our probabilities of a tornado touching down within 25 miles of a location today, we have a 5% chance of a tornado touching down within 25 miles of a location across south central Kansas and far north central Oklahoma, including the towns of Enid and unfortunately Bartlesville, which got hit with the devastating tornado last week, and Wichita, Kansas. So make sure you're on guard for a few scattered tornadoes today if you live across the brown shade area. Be on guard for an isolated tornado as well across the Texas Panhandle, central northwestern Oklahoma, and central southwestern Kansas, as you have a 2% chance of a tornado touching down within 25 miles of a location in this green shade area today. We also have a 5% elevated tornado threat across central Florida, including areas like Tampa and Orlando, Deltona, Daytona Beach, Palm Bay, Bardstown, Bradenton, Spring Hills, and Homosassa Springs. Make sure you're on guard for a few scattered tornadoes across central Florida today, and we actually have a tornado watch in effect across areas of central Florida in the yellow box until 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we also have a 2% chance of a tornado touching down within 25 miles of a location to the north and the south of the 5% area in areas like Ocala, St. Augustine, Palm Coast, and down towards Englewood, Arcadia, and Port St. Lucie. And finally, we have a 2% tornado risk across much of North Carolina and eastern South Carolina as well. Taking a look at our damaging wind threat for today, damaging winds are going to be a big problem across the Texas Panhandle, northwest Oklahoma, and south central Kansas, as the Storm Prediction Center has issued a 30% chance of damaging straight line winds at 58 miles per hour stronger within 25 miles of a location across the red shade region today. Make sure you're on guard for numerous damaging wind gusts if you live from the Texas Panhandle through south central Kansas today, with a 15% damaging wind risk in the yellow surrounding that across portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, 5% damaging wind risk from Texas through Nebraska in the brown. Looking at our Carolina threat, we have a 15% damaging wind risk in areas like Raleigh, Jacksonville, Wilmington, and Charlotte, with a 5% damaging wind risk surrounding that in the brown. And then down towards Florida, also a 15% damaging wind risk in central Florida, 5% to the north and the south in the brown. So make sure you're preparing for a potential localized derecho across the south central plains this evening. And taking a look at our large hail threat, thankfully we don't have a destructive hail threat today, but we do have a 15% chance of quarter-size hail or larger within 25 miles of a location across the Texas Panhandle, northwest Oklahoma, and south central Kansas in the yellow, 5% hail risk in the brown, 15% hail risk across portions of the Carolinas in the yellow, 5% chance in the brown, and a 15% hail risk across central Florida as well. So make sure you're on guard for some scattered large hail if you live across the yellow areas, isolated large hail if you live in the brown areas for today. So we're going to be timing out the storms across the south central plains, as those could be pretty significant going into the evening. So storms are going to develop as early as 4 o'clock in the Texas Panhandle and northeastern New Mexico, and then as we go into about 5 and 6 o'clock, storm coverage will become more widespread, producing some scattered damaging winds and large hail, especially across the Texas Panhandle and the southwestern Oklahoma. And then going to 7, 8, 9 o'clock, this is when we could be seeing numerous damaging wind gusts with multiple clusters of severe storms across the Texas-Oklahoma Panhandle through central Oklahoma and south-central Kansas into 9 p.m. this evening. Going to 10, 11 p.m., these storms are going to continue to push to the east through the Oklahoma City metro area. Even into 2 a.m., could still be seeing some storms across much of Oklahoma, but they'll be weakening at this point. And then going into Thursday morning, our storms will continue but remain sub-severe across Texas and Oklahoma. So thanks for watching today's severe weather update. Make sure you're preparing for scattered to numerous severe weather across the Carolinas, Florida, and the plains, and especially the plains. Make sure you're on guard for a couple of destructive wind gusts across the plains today. Thanks for watching today's severe weather update. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.